Welcome to February. I know this year's racing by. Okay, I know it's only February, but I'm feeling it. It's crazy, okay? We just had the major storm that hit like a third of the country. And cold, insanely cold. The bees got tons of snow. You can see in this photo here. And yes, the entrances are covered, and I'm monitoring that. The way I have my hive set up, there is a gap behind, so there's a little bit of air getting in there. If you've watched my videos before, I hope you have, I do condensing hives, so they're pretty tight. I don't need a lot of air in. I do have all screen bottom boards. They're closed off with a West beetle trap, but there's still just enough air in there that it's making its thing happen. So I'll go up probably tomorrow or the next day and clear off a little bit. But I do like that additional insulation. Anyway, but that's not really what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about February, and I'm actually going to update a little bit about April. Oh God, I'm getting cabin fever. We've been locked inside now for 4 days, and I'm telling you, I've had about enough. But talk about January. I got everything done I wanted to get done, and that was I made candy boards. I actually deployed 20 candy boards out into the field, and now I'm just happy as a lark. They're getting fed. I'm going to go back, and that's on the calendar for February, but I put the 20 candy boards out. I've started to build frames, but I'm going to show you in a minute some new frames and things we got going on. I cleaned my excluders, and I've done a lot just on the business side, and because it's that time of year. If you're running a kind of a side hustle business, which I am, you got to be catching up on paperwork. I'm trying to get ready for the tax season, which is always fun, but you know, it's just part of the game you play. January was great too. Went to NABI, North American Honeybee Expo, and I will tell you, it is crazy insane. I bought a lot of good stuff. I got the hive boxes I'm painting, and I have these additional boxes to paint up over here. I bought a bunch of frames because I really need to be replacing frames. I'm just constantly replacing frames. So I got frames, not a whole lot else, but hey, I will tell you, it was great to meet a lot of you. I was really just happy to have you come up and say hi, and they enjoyed the videos. I'll give a shout out to John from Hive Alive. It was great to chat with you, John. Just a really good experience. Came back from NABI. It was warm enough. I went into the hives. Here's the other thing that is a good thing. Maybe it's a bad thing. I don't know. Well, actually, I do know. But as I was putting candy boards on, just after I got back from NABI, I put candy boards on 20 hives. I checked 25 and just take a peek because it was in the 60s. And every one of the hives I was in had either 7 or 8 frames of bees. I was a little freaked out. Is that exciting? Is that great? Yes, it's good to have good, strong hives. Am I freaked out? I am, for 2 reasons. 2 reasons. One is the fact that many bees will go through a ton of food. To that end, I'm either making more candy boards, which I have. I'm either going to be filling more candy boards and swapping those out to make sure that they have enough food, or if it warms up, I'm going to go back to 2 to 1 just to give them enough food to be able to generate to produce the brood that they need to. So I'm a little nervous about that. The other thing I'm kind of nervous about, that many bees are going to run out of space really fast. So the second I see red maple coming in, which a lot of times is like really right down here around the, well, that'd be the 30th of February, and that doesn't really work. Around here around the 28th, it's quite possible that if the snow melts, we warm up, that I'm going to start seeing pollen coming back, because I'm already seeing the red maple starting to swell a little bit. And that just means they're going to be busting. And if they're bringing stuff in, they're going to fill up the hive. You're going to get honey bound. You get honey bound, and the queen has nowhere to lay, and boom, they're making swarm cells. I have got to prevent my hives from swarming this year. We're going to go through the whole process, show you how I do the demarré. I've had good success with that. I haven't used it a lot. This is the first year I'm really going to be deploying it on about 17 hives. And we're going to see what we can get out of it. I I can't have them swarm. I need the honey production in the worst way. So that's the other issue. They're either going to starve because they don't have enough food, if I don't keep on that, or they are going to swarm right away early because they don't have room. So this is going to be a tricky, tricky spring for me. I'm going to bring you along with me, but enough of that. I'm going way off on tangents. We're here to talk about February. February is really still a get ready month, but you better be full ready because once March hits, it's Katie bar the door. And I'm going to go back. So I've got flow written on April at the very beginning. Basically the 1st of April around here is about when you start to see the flow really working. So if you're talking about wanting your bees at maximum to maximize the flow coming in, you got to go back 42 days. And if you go back 42 days or basically 6 weeks, 6 weeks from April 1st is the second week of February. And we're only a couple weeks away from that. So yeah, tricky, it's cold, but the bees are going to start building up. I already know that I could go into hives, and certain hives are going to have a lot of brood already. So believe it or not, it may feel like winter, but this is the time you got to be on it if you're going to have a successful year. Strong bees going into the flow equals strong honey production. It's just simple math. Math? My nature. It's one of those. So what are we going to do this month? Well, I'm going to build frames. As I could show you here, bought a whole lot of frames. I've got a bunch of deep boxes I'm going to be using for my demarree. I have to have frames to be able to fill those boxes out, so I've got a lot of frames that we're going to work with and build. I'm painting boxes. I've got a really super simple method for painting boxes, and I don't know, it's like maybe these 7 boxes in total time was 20 minutes. I think a great way to go. Take a look at that video if you're looking to paint some boxes. Another thing that I'm going to need to end up doing, I'm going to need to start thinking about making pollen patties, because about the middle of February is when the brood starts to really kick in. And if we get warm enough weather, then the bees are broken cluster and the queen's going to start laying like crazy. I want to put those pollen patties on to help stimulate that brood. It's going to be tricky this year. I'm telling you, it's going to be tricky. These bees are already busting. I don't want them to swarm. I've got to do everything I can do to stop that from happening. We're going to make this happen. We're going to make this happen. And then again, if we get around the end of the month, I want to do a brood check. If I can do a brood check, say the very end of February, if the weather is looking good and it looks like we're going to have a good stretch, or right at the first part of March. I don't like opening the hives, getting that far in and pulling hives out, because you're breaking that whole propolis shield. And we can still get some pretty cold weather here in March, mid-Michigan. I haven't lived in mid-Michigan since the 70s. Southwestern Illinois. I've got cabin fever, I'm telling you, I'm going crazy here. But I don't like breaking open the hives if it looks like we're going to get some more cold weather. That is simply kind of the kiss of death, because they just don't have the resources to seal that back up again. It's not the kiss of death. It's just not healthy. It's not happy for them. Also, we have the first market of the year coming up for us on the 28th of February. So I got to get ready for that. And that means I've got a whole lot of honey to uncrystallize. And, you know, you are collecting honey, you got it in tanks or 5-gallon buckets. At this point in the year, it's probably crystallized. And I'm needing to run about 100 pounds of honey through my warming freezer. Here's the video to that if you want to take a look at that. And that's how I take 5-gallon buckets and get those uncrystallized so I can bottle them up. That's come the 28th of February. February, it's a busy time. Doesn't seem like it should be, but this is the back end work that you need to be able to get your hives where you want them to be for when it's coming. And if you're not ready, you're not ready. Yeah, there's logic in there someplace. So anyway, hey, thanks for watching. Really do appreciate it. If you haven't hit that like button, please do, because it's nice to be liked. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. That way you can follow along and see my successes, see my failures. I film them all. And sometimes I feel like it's more on the failure side than the success. But you know what? You're learning from it. And as I said before, if you're not learning, you're not learning. It's like I'm channeling my inner Yogi Berra. Hey, as always, happy beekeeping.